Hello and welcome to another trip report. This time from France to Germany on a TGV high-speed train. There are different routes, also different fare systems. The route that I'll be taking today is from Paris to Stuttgart. Some trains continue to Munich as well. And there's something very interesting to know about ticket fares. I will tell you this all in the video. What I do in this video, I will show you this railway station, Gare de l'Est, show you the trains on this route, some views from the train, and also tell you something important about ticket fares, because this can save you quite a lot of money. I hope you'll like this video. If you do so, give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more train related videos, subscribe to my channel. For now, let's roll the intro. Before I start this video, everybody knows that trains are one of the most environmental friendly ways of motorized transportation. This graph shows the environmental impact if you're traveling on the high-speed trains from Paris to Germany. This will be to the terminal stations in Germany. The left diagram shows the information about carbon dioxide, and well, it has been written what the other graphs will show. Both on travel time and environmental impact on the routes Paris Frankfurt and Paris Stuttgart, the train is the absolute winner. On Paris Munich, flying might be slightly faster, but well, it's not that much difference. And the train is much more relaxed. It brings you in one go from city center to city center. And if you even consider flying on these routes, I think you haven't understand what's going on in the world right now. I will tell you more about ticket fares and other routes later on in the video. For now, let's start with this video. Paris, the city of love, the Eiffel Tower and lots of other typical French things. Chance is, if you're watching this video, it's relatively a big chance you're a railway fan. And of course, Paris is also the home for metros on rubber tires. Well, this video is not about the metro, but it's about the high-speed trains to Germany. The metro though is by far the best way to travel to the railway stations, and if you have to change here, in most cases it's also the best way to change between the different terminal railway stations. Paris does have 7 terminal railway stations, and all these railway stations do in general serve specific regions. Both the railway stations of Gare du Nord and Gare de l'Est, so the north and the east railway station, do serve towns in Germany. The Ruhr area will be served by Gare du Nord, and this is mainly with Thalys trains, and the other parts of Germany by Gare de l'Est. Gare de l'Est is not only for what you see over here, but also trains to Austria, Berlin for example, and Russia do depart from Gare de l'Est. Gare de l'Est, so the east railway station, is being served by Metro 4, 5 and 7. And apart from that, you also find the local commuter line P. Directions if you leave the metro to the railway station are given very well. You basically can't miss it. If you leave the metro station, you'll get out at the front of the railway station at the underground part. Over here you find quite a lot of shops. But entering Gare de l'Est from the front, well, I like this much more. I really like this railway station building, and from this railway station on the 4th of October in 1883, also the first Orient Express with destination Constantinopolis departed. The layout of this railway station is pretty straightforward, and especially for a terminal railway station. At the front part you find some areas where you find shops. A little bit more towards direction to the tracks, there is a big square where you find some railway related facilities, vending machines and some more shops. And of course, lots of information screens with information about departing trains. It's not as big as for example Gare du Nord, what is located right next to this, but it's still quite a big railway station though. Of course, you find quite a lot of shops over here, both shops with some stuff you might need for your journey, like places where you can buy food, but also fashion related shops for example, bookshops, well, you name it. One thing I really like about waiting places in French railway stations is that there are lots of possibilities to charge your mobile devices. I think a lot of other countries can take this as an example. Free Wi-Fi is available at several spots within this railway station, and personally I just really like the architecture over here. By the way, the first class lounge is located at the side and is called Salon Grand Voyageur. Well, I'm traveling second class anyway, so I can't access the lounge. Throughout the railway station there are lots of screens that will host information about departing and arriving trains from here, and directions are given very good. Of course, with the use of icons this is understandable to everybody, but apart from that it's also being directed in French, English and a third language. I didn't notice the third language over here, by the way, but I think it makes most sense if this will be in German. Departure platforms in France always pop up pretty last minute, and that was also the case for my train. Before you enter the platform, your COVID certificate will be checked if you are vaccinated or recovered from COVID. Well, I've got my booster. I recorded this, by the way, in January 2022. And right after that, your ticket will be checked. Before I will show you the trains, I will show the route map of the TGV inOui and the ICE trains that do run between Germany and France. Apart from that, you also find the Thalys trains, but they will go to other parts of Germany and those trains will depart from Paris Gare du Nord, so the North railway station. The Thalys trains do run via Belgium. On most routes you will find both ICE and TGV trains. However, on the route Munich Paris and Frankfurt Marseille, you will only find the TGV duplex trains that I'll be featuring in this video. On the other three routes, you'll find a combination of both TGV and ICE trains. For this trip I traveled until Karlsruhe. From there on I took another ICE train towards the north of Germany and then I went home. I always try to be as early as possible within the train, so I can easily film on my own face and, well, not too many people around. And I was quite early, I have to say. The platform was quite empty and there were only 2 people walking in front of me. Normally at the side of the train you can recognize what carriage number we were at this place, and apart from that the numbers 1 and 2 do indicate what class can be found where. However, even though the platform has been announced, the doors were standing open, the displays at the side of the train were not displaying the carriage numbers and route information, and the lights within the train were not turned on yet. So filming in an empty train, this didn't work because I need some light. However, it's a good opportunity to show you the exterior of the train though. At one part you will find 3 carriages for the first class. Between the first and the second class you will find the bar, well, kind of the dining car. I do have to say the dining car is not that stunning though. And for the rest you'll find the second class carriages. Both at the front and at the back of the train you'll find the engines for these trains. The top speed for these trains is 320 km per hour or 200 miles per hour. And they will also go on this speed between Paris and Strasbourg. This is the front of the train. And well, time to go to my carriage to see if the displays are working. And no, because everybody was queuing up at the front. And at the moment the displays went on, everybody went into the train. So filming in an empty train, I didn't succeed in that. As you can see, the carriage number, train number and route information will be displayed at the side. Maybe you also noticed that the exterior of the train was not that clean. This was not very ideal for filming the views from the train. At the moment you enter the train, it has been clearly marked what seat numbers can be found where. So at the upper or the lower deck, after I went to my assigned seats and dropped my luggage, I decided to do a train tour and I start off with the second class. The second class comes mainly in a 2x2 configuration, so 2 seats on both sides of the aisle. The overhead luggage racks, they're really tiny because this is a double deck train. But you also find luggage racks in the compartments and also between the carriages. Near the staircases, the carriage number and also the seat numbers for the seats at the lower deck have been written. You can't walk through these trains via the lower deck. Actually, I wanted to film the lower deck as well, but it was quite busy during the trip at the lower deck, so I couldn't film over there. About half of the seats is facing each other and the other half comes in an airline or long distance bus composition. Between the carriages at the upper deck there's a special seat for if you want to have public phone calls, so you're not bothering other passengers. And at the rare situation that these trains have been overbooked, they can also use these seats as spare seats. But that doesn't happen a lot. These seats do have power plugs and a reading light as well, by the way. And actually, I kinda really like them, apart from the fact that you don't have any views from the train. They're quite good. Apart from the luggage racks, at the moment the back ends of the seats do come in this composition, you can also store quite a lot of luggage between these back ends. Time for a seat tour. The seats that do come in an airline style composition do have quite a big and steady fold out table in the seat in front. Above that there's a magazine rack and between the seats there's one power plug and one garbage can. I do have to say I'm quite tall, therefore the leg space might look tighter than it is. A footrest can be found at the seat as well, and all windows, both at the upper and the lower deck, do have a sunscreen. Above the seat you will find reading light. Right next to the reading light you will find the seat number, and in these trains there's also a display that will indicate from where to where a seat has been reserved. I haven't noticed these displays in other TGV trains. An icon above the seat number does indicate if it's a window or an aisle seat. A button integrated in the armrest can be used to recline the seat. At the moment you have seats that do face each other with a table in between. A power plug can be found integrated within these tables. Screens at the end of each compartment, both at the upper and the lower deck, do host route information about location, speed, connecting trains at the stations, etc. Between the first and the second class there's the dining car. Unfortunately the dining car was closed at the moment I recorded this, because I recorded this in January 2022. You won't find that comfortable seats over here, but there are some places where you can sit, and this is mainly a bar. If you're traveling between Germany and France and you're traveling on an ICE train, the dining experience is much better in the German train. Time to move on to the first class. The first class comes in a 2x1 configuration. The seats are wider and you have more leg space. There's not that much extra service in first class though, like you find in some countries. At the moment you have the solo seats. At the side you find a power plug, and where the seats do face each other you find these tables you can fold out to make them a little bit bigger. All seats do have their individual power plugs over here, and at the side you find a button so you can recline the seats electrically. There's a fold-out table in the seats that do come in an airline style or long distance bus composition. A footrest, a magazine rack can be found above the fold-out table, and again all seats do have individual power plugs, and right below the power plug you find the garbage can. At the side you find the sunscreen, and of course the reading lights and the displays for the reservations. Of course, just like as in the second class, in the first class you won't find that much space for luggage in the overhead luggage racks, but within these compartments, at the end of the compartments but also between the compartments, you will find dedicated luggage racks where you can store quite a lot of luggage. Even though I didn't test it out, free Wi-Fi is available on board of these trains, all over the train. It's not just an internet connection, but it also connects your device to an onboard entertainment system and also route information system. Time to review the toilets. You'll find several toilets within these trains, and I do have to say the toilets at the upper deck, they're extremely narrow and tiny. At the lower deck the toilets are a bit bigger, and within the first class, right next to the spot where you find some extra space for people traveling in a wheelchair, there's a bigger toilet. This toilet can also be turned into a nursery space for babies if you pull this thing down. In the second class, at the other end of the train, at the upper deck, there's a special nursery space for babies. This is not within a toilet. It's not that big over here, but well, it's rather nice. There are no special toddler or children compartments within these trains, like you find in some countries and within some trains. And not all TGV duplex trains are the same. You can find videos of other TGV duplex trains for trip reports I did below the description of this video on YouTube. My favorite trains are the Oceania trains. These trains do run in the southwest of France and are also the most modern at the moment of recording. Overall, I think these TGV inOui trains are good long distance trains, and the ICE trains that do run on these routes as well. They're pretty comfortable as well. I haven't covered this specific ICE trains on my channel yet. For now, I will show you some views from the train between Paris and Karlsruhe. Right after that, I will tell you something more about ticket fares. At last, I will tell you something about ticket fares for these routes. If you're just traveling between these terminal stations where the international trains between France and Germany travel, well, you can just look it up at both the French railway company for the fares and the German railway company. Most likely is that if you're traveling with children up to and including the age of 14 years old, you're cheaper with the German railway company, because for the German section of the route, they will travel for free. And this is in general where things get a little bit more complicated in general. Because if you have the so-called Spaarprijs or Spaarprijs Europa, what means Saver Fare or Saver Fare Europe in German, children up to and including the age of 14 years old do travel for free if they are being accompanied by their parents or grandparents. However, this doesn't count for those fares to France. Well, it does counts for the fares to France, but only for the German section of the route. By the way, children up to and including the age of 14 do travel for free in general in Germany if they're being accompanied by their parents or grandparents. Another thing, these Spaarprijs Europa tickets, so the Saver Fares tickets for the German state and rail company, if you book them, for example, from the Netherlands to Denmark, you can book them in one go. And well, these Saver Fares are based on the demand of passengers. The basic rule is the earlier you book, the cheaper the tickets are, and if more people book a specific train, the price might go up. Well, this is to stimulate people to take other trains that are not that busy yet. And also, I mean, if the demand is too high for a train, well, you can also ask the full price. I think that's fair. So therefore, these tickets are for specific trains. If you have the full fare, you can take any train. There's still some regulations when it comes to this though. However, if you book these tickets for, let's say, from the Netherlands, Denmark, Poland, whatever, to France, you will only get the full fare. I made two calculations over here. So this is one example from Amsterdam and one from Copenhagen. This doesn't include any discount cards though. So even the lower price can be a little bit cheaper, not that much. But the full fare can be a lot cheaper though. So it can save you quite a lot of money, around 75% in these examples. I can make them on longer distances, then it will save you more. But well, these are just two examples. And something you should keep in mind, the German and the French state of railway company, they work together. They do offer more destinations than the specific destinations they do offer with the direct TGV and ICE trains. However, you cannot book all destinations in Germany from the French railway company and the other way around as well. So sometimes it might be interesting to look for a specific section of the routes and then split your ticket up somewhere along the go. And the basic rule is also, if you're traveling via Germany to France, always split up your ticket, because this will save you a lot of money. For the Thalys trains though, these are different fares. I can't say too much about that. They do have their own fares. This is another railway company. And these are the high-speed trains that run between Paris North and the Ruhr area, so northwest Germany. If you want to know more, well, there's so many if this, then that situations. The website of Seat 61 pops up on the screen right now. If you have some questions about these fares, I can try to answer them. I used to work for an international travel agency for train tickets, so this is why I know all these rules and how to get these lower fares. But there's so many if this then that situations. Though Seat 61 can help you a lot, and otherwise, well, you can ask me, but I don't know if I can answer all questions when it comes to this. I paid for my tickets €70. This was a cancelable ticket, promotional ticket of the German State Railway Company, but I booked my tickets to the border with the Netherlands. So I had another ICE train to Düsseldorf. And from Düsseldorf, I took a local train to the border with the Netherlands. And from there on, for the last section, I bought a ticket to my hometown, what is The Hague. I have a card where I travel for free in the weekends in the Netherlands. So this was the cheapest thing for me to do. But in my specific situation, if I would have bought the ticket from Paris to Karlsruhe, it would have been slightly cheaper if I did this via the French state-owned railway company. Well, I really need to make a video about how ticket fares work in Germany, because there's so much to tell you about this. For now, we're almost done with this video. But before I really end this video, I want to tell you something about other trip reports. Because if you're interested in other trip reports, of course you can find them on this channel. But also in the description of this video on YouTube, there's a link to a map, and on this map you will find all trip reports I did. The lines do indicate the routes for the trains and ferries, and the train and ferry icons do indicate the railway station and ferry terminal reviews. Of course, I'm making more videos, so there will be more lines added to this as well. And if you made it all the way to this point in the video and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my channel. I'm uploading at least one video per 2 weeks. And at the moment I do have content for at least 1 year. There will be 1 video per week. This channel is mainly focusing on long distance and international train traveling to show you what it's like to travel on a more sustainable way of transportation. Okay, I just put up my face mask real quick. There's really no one around me. That's it for this video. I got out here at Karlsruhe Hauptbahnhof. I will travel up north and go home now. This train continues to Stuttgart. They're also running to Munich. I think I already told you something about the routes in the video. Anyway, I hope you like this video. If you do so, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more train related videos, subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions or if it's helpful for you, also give me a thumbs up. But let me know in the comments, or even if you just want to say hello, leave a comment. That's it for now. See you on my next video.